everybody, welcome back to the RPG Alliance Convention's Game Master Profile, and today I have with me Matt Hayles.
Hi. Hi, Vicky.
Hey, Matt. Matt, you're running Stranger Dread at this year's RPG Alliance Con. Tell us a little bit about that game system and why you want to run it.
So I've been really excited to learn a little bit more about Dread and the way that that system works. Dread is a horror role-playing game. It has great table presence, and it's really beginner-friendly because instead of dice, it uses a Jenga tower, or a tumbling blocks tower, to use the generic term, for its mechanic. So it's a horror game. Every time you try to do something risky or scary, you're going to pull one or more blocks from the tower, and when the tower falls, your character is done. It's really, really fun. It has great tension, and it's something that's really accessible for new players. And bringing new players into the hobby is something that's really important to me, and I think something that RPG Alliance does really well, and why I'm happy to be a part of RPG Alliance this year, is introducing a greater range of different kinds of independent role-playing games to new players and experienced players, and expanding the hobby in that way. The scenario that I'm running is called Stranger Dread. It's based on Stranger Things, and I've been really having a ton of fun watching and rewatching Stranger Things Season 3 this year. And so the scenario is going to be really accessible in that way as well. It's going to be a familiar genre. We're going to get all of that 80s Canadian tuxedo going on, and we're going to follow the same kind of basic premise but tell our own unique story. So it's going to be all about a kid goes missing in a small Alberta town, and his friends and his sister and her friends are going to try and investigate what happened there. And it's going to be really not dark, but kind of pulpy and fun and a little bit scary, and I'm really excited about that.
Matt, you're the organizer of Calgary Expo's Gaming Center. How has it changed over the years?
So I got involved with Calgary Expo about 3 years ago. They've run a really successful tabletop gaming, primarily board gaming, center at Calgary Expo, which every year has about 100,000, 90,000 media fans come. So these are people who love anime, they might love cartoons, superheroes, Marvel comics, DC comics, all this kind of sort of everything that exists at the kind of media fandom, nerd fandom center. And when I had gotten involved, I had gone to them and said, hey, you have this really successful board gaming thing. Would you also be interested in having some Dungeons and Dragons? And they said, sure, we're happy to try it. And then over the last 2 or 3 years, we've really built that up to a point where at this time, I believe Calgary Expo is Western Canada's largest role-playing game convention, secretly hidden within a fan convention. So it's really, really fun, and we get a kind of a unique audience because we have so many people who are coming there who have been exposed to Dungeons and Dragons through fandoms. Maybe they've never played, maybe they've always wanted to play, and we're able to provide a really open and inclusive and welcoming environment for them to play their first game, to make their first character, maybe to have a first experience of role-playing games that isn't Dungeons and Dragons, right? We really loved having all of the Modifius games that you ran, that Brent ran, that Keith ran. Those were really, really, really great, and also really accessible because we're able to get people to come in and say, oh, I love Star Trek. I'm going to come and play a Star Trek game, right? I love the Conan books. I'm going to come and play a Conan game. And that's a really accessible entry point. And something I'm a big believer for is that your first best game is going to be in a genre that you're already a fan of.
Matt, we met about 1.5 years ago, and you were one of our first game masters for our first con, and I have to thank you for that. But you made me aware that there are safety tools out there that can make gaming and tabletop experience a lot more fun and inclusive for everybody. Can you give us a little more information about those tools?
Yeah, that's a great question. So safety tools and safe and inclusive play is something is a topic that's really dear to my heart. It's something that we talk a lot about at Calgary Expo and in the communities that I'm involved in sort of online and here in Calgary. So the X card is a great example of a safety tool because it's really easy to understand. The way the X card works is whenever a piece of content comes up in play that is taking you out of the play experience. It might be harmful, it might be triggering, it might bring up memories or topics that you just aren't into dealing with right now. You just say, hey, can we X card that? You might hold up your hands like this. You might tap a physical card that I know we're going to have at RPG Alliance this year, so thank you for that. You might tap a physical card that's going to be on the table, and all it does is it signals to everybody that the content that's in play right now, that's being discussed at the table among the humans at the table, is something that we're just going to rewind on, and we're going to do that scene again without that content. And I think it's really important as well to note that the person who X cards, who uses the X card, they never have to explain themselves, they never have to justify. The X card really provides social permission for everybody at the table to make sure that they're having a good time, that the game is going to be fun for them, that it's going to be safe for them, that it's not going to bring up topics that are going to take them out of the play experience and into perhaps past trauma. It's something that gets used a lot in the queer gaming communities I'm in online, gets used a lot in other online communities, and I'm really a big fan of it, and I'm really happy to see it being used this year at RPG Alliance. So the X card is just one example of safety tools. It was created by John Staphropoulos, who's a game designer. You see a number of other examples that get used if people want to look them up. Lines and Veils is one that I use quite a bit. There's another one called CATS, which stands for Content, Aim, Tone, and Subject Matter, that I really like. Script Change by Bo Sheldon is another great one. I've used that one last year at RPG Alliance when I was running The Veil by Fraser Simon, who's a local Calgary game designer. And then if you really want to, if you're interested in getting to know a little bit more about sort of safety tools, some that you can use in real life games, some that you can use online, a great place to look for that is the Gauntlet Gaming community. They have a whole section on different tools that you can use in different ways that provide kind of different levels of safety and different kinds of safety, whether that's before the game, in the game, or having sort of post-session debriefs.
Thank you, Matt, for being here for our Game Master Profile series, and you'll be running Stranger Dread at our RPG Alliance convention October 20th at Dickens Pub. Tickets are available at tabletopevents.com. I want to thank Zero Issue Brewing for hosting this series, and we'll see you at the con.